Good morning, everyone. So firstly, I would just like to thank you all for joining us this morning for what is our first webinar here at TokyWoky. For those of you that don't know me, I'm James Andrews, and I just want to apologize for the very formal picture that you can see on the screen now. It was stolen from my LinkedIn profile. I'm honestly more friendlier than that in general. But I head our team here in the UK. Now, we're very excited about this, and we hope you'll find it valuable and that you'll get some interesting takeaways from today's session. So the goal of the webinar this morning is not to sell you TokyWoky. We too have endured too many webinar sessions that become sales pitches. So instead, what we're aiming to do this morning is to give you a breakdown of what we've witnessed with our clients during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Cyber Week. And we've invited both existing clients to the webinar this morning and then later opened it up to anyone. So I'll be sharing some best practices on how you can spot and combat peak season trading issues with or without Toky. So hopefully you'll find it useful if you have a TokyWoky or even if you don't. Now, before we start, I just want to give you 2 tips on how to make the most of this webinar. Firstly, you have a chat option in the top right-hand corner of your screen. And what you can do from there is you're able to interact with us. So ideally, it'd be great if you wanted to fire some questions during the webinar. And Marie from Team TokyWoky will be here helping me answer your questions. And then if we get some really interesting ones, I'll take 1 or 2 at the end of the session. Secondly, we'll also be doing 1 or 2 surveys during the webinar. These will be really straightforward and just kind of one-click answers. And I'm actually going to start you off now with a relatively easy one. So I'm going to launch our first question now, just to kind of get a flavor to see who's on the call and on the session this morning. So I've launched it now. So please just give us your quick feedback of what industry you're from. I'll give you 10 seconds to do that before I close. Great. I'm going to close that now. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to publish it for everybody to see. Some great turnout from fashion, beauty. Oh, pretty fair across the board. Well presented. So thank you very much. Okay, great. Now, thanks for that. And I've got to do this first, and apologies for those of you who are very familiar with TokyWoky, but I'm going to do a quick 1-minute introduction on who we are. So we're a French startup, and we now have over 130 large e-commerce clients across Europe, UK, US, and now Asia. And the one thing that all of our clients have in common is passion. They all operate in passion-related sectors. So just like you guys on the call, we have clients in beauty, fashion, high-tech, DIY, home improvement. So the customer success stories that I'll be sharing with you today will come from those industries. But real simple introduction to TokyWoky and our goal. And at TokyWoky, what we do is we aim to create helpful customer communities on e-commerce sites. And how we do that is through our peer-to-peer live chat tool. So just like the one you're seeing on your screen now is Gallery Lafayette's TokyWoky. Now, through the widget, visitors can talk to each other in real time. Now, from the conversations that they have, we spot the best contributors. So the customers who are organically answering the most questions, and we invite those customers to join what we call customer community. So in this case, it would be Gallery Lafayette's customer community. Now, the second reason why I wanted to introduce this to you right away is because I can't stress it enough. Allowing your customers to speak to each other directly on your site leads to a huge amount of transparent insights everything from product reviews all the way to functionality feedback on how well your site is performing. So the analysis that I detail for you this morning and what I'm going to share with you, that all derives from our analysis of the conversations on our clients' sites. So now, jump into Black Friday and peak period. So hopefully it was a successful one for all of you. But now I'm going to share what we saw across Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Cyber Week. So through our clients' TokyWokys, obviously, we saw a huge spike in activity on Black Friday. Now, what we've been able to do with that spike is analyze over 12,000 questions, which teamed with our knowledge and our clients' best practices has been the basis for the insights that I'm going to detail for you now. But as I'm sure you're all aware, Black Friday isn't without its challenges. And our customer success team here at TokyWoky, quick shout out to Alex, Mayte, Gwen, and Manon, who some of you I'm sure are already very familiar with. They've been having a lot of conversations with our clients in the run up to Q4, gearing up for the impact that was going to happen with the increased site activity. And our clients essentially were discussing with them, how can they make sure they optimize that traffic? Because the last thing you want in Q4 is to be missing sales, have dissatisfied customers based on bad online shopping experience, or simply to be overwhelmed with the additional contacts to your customer support team. So to help you work through these challenges and for the remainder of kind of the Christmas build up into sale and then for any future peak periods, we'll be exploring the following themes and challenges that you have on your screen now. So the first one, what are the common issues you'll face in the coming months based on our data from what we've seen so far? So here I'll go through the questions that were most asked and the steps some of our clients have taken to get shoppers the information that they need. The second one, how to spot conversion holdups ASAP. Pretty obvious, but this will detail how to maximize the assets you have to speed up the process of spotting conversion blockers and ultimately not losing sales. And then finally, again, how to solve issues when your dev team can't help. Particular hot topic during peak period, and particularly if you go into freeze over that period. But I'll explore some best practices that we've seen that can help ease customers' frustrations during that period. So without further ado, let's kind of dive into the first point and what are the common issues. Now, I appreciate that this is quite a lot of data to digest on a webinar, so don't worry about reading it all. We'll send the deck across to you after we conclude this morning. But before I dive into it, I guess I want to give you some kind of global context of what we normally see outside of peak period that is Q4. And kind of globally outside of that, we see one type of question leading category asked on TokyWoky, or to simplify that, the most asked question. And that traditionally is an inspiration related question, or a question that's a request for advice from fellow shoppers. But what was really interesting here is the shift during Black Friday, as that completely flipped. Promotions was the #1 asked category. Now, that may seem obvious, but when you explore the data deeper, every operation-led question category, including order, checkout, returns, also saw significant lifts, meaning that during Black Friday, customers' questions and behaviors shifted to being even more transactional as they looked for instant operational information. Now, we've analyzed over 12,000 customer questions, and here are the confirmed top 3 most frequently asked during Black Friday. Now, again, I'm sure none of these 3 come as a surprise to you, which is good, but it emphasizes the themes of this webinar. So the top question asked, question 1, can I use the loyalty program and the Black Friday promo offer at the same time? Clearly, this is a missing information question. There's a lack of information across the sites. Question 2, I cannot seem to add the product to my basket. Technical issue, clearly, and quite transparently a conversion blocker. And then question 3, is it possible to return an item brought or an article brought on Black Friday? Again, operational, missing the information that clients need. I'm going to jump to a second poll because I just want to get some quick feedback if they were similar problems to what you saw during Black Friday and peak. So if you could just again give me your magic 1-tick answers, that'd be great. The poll is now live. Okay, 50% promo deals, yeah. Technical issues quite strong as well. Okay, great. Thank you for that. I'm going to close that and I'm now going to share it with you all so you can see the results. So 40% questions about promo, so links to our statistics, 33% technical issues, which is great because I'm going to share some real use cases now that hopefully can help you coming forward. And to dive, I guess, into kind of our first recommendation to combat that, and that is to give the right information at the right place of your site. So recommendation 1, duplicate your promotion information on various pages. Now, you may think you've detailed specific information about the promotion in enough detail, but maybe not. Never overestimate how easy it is for shoppers to find the right information. Now, for those of you who have TokyWoky, definitely use the content analysis tool you have in your admin space. Now, if you aren't familiar with this, please get in touch with your dedicated success manager after the webinar. They'd be happy to take you through it. Now, this tool details page per page what questions are asked where on your site, giving you instant access to what you're missing where. So to give you kind of a tangible example of this, a beauty client of ours in America recently ran a promotion campaign in Cyber Week after Black Friday. And after seeing the spike in promotion-related questions across the whole of their site on Black Friday, even on the checkout page, they wanted to change it for the upcoming campaign. So what they did is utilize the content analysis tool that I'm showing you on this screen now, quickly identified where that promotion information would be critical for the next campaign. And the result was they actually published the promotion offer on the home page, category pages, related product pages, and checkout pages. 2 great results. They actually saw a dip in promotion-related questions across the whole. So, how to spot conversion holdups ASAP? Essentially, what are the best practices we've been seeing to spot these problems as fast as possible during peak period, and ultimately to avoid losing sales? Now, many of you, I'm guessing probably all of you actually, are using traditional analytics tools like GA or Adobe. Now, these are great at identifying where you have a conversion holdup on your site, as they clearly show you where you're losing traffic, etc. But they don't show you the reason why. Give you an example, you have a product page that has good traffic, steady, but it simply isn't converting. People aren't proceeding from checkout, and you don't understand why. Now, you don't necessarily have the time or the insights to understand what's going on there when it's one of the busiest periods or even days of trading in the year. So how can you improve that? Into our first recommendation, try and spot the problems as soon as possible by utilizing an asset that I'm sure all of you in some form already have, and that's your customer support team. So these are the people on the front line, to be honest. They interact directly with countless number of customers every single day, and they will know pretty quickly when an issue keeps coming up with different shoppers. So set up a communication strategy to acquire and utilize their feedback regularly. Now, I had a client, a great cycling brand here in the UK actually, whose e-commerce director, before using TokyWoky, he used to have a call every hour with his customer support manager during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, just to make sure he stayed up to date and on the pulse and could deal with the problems with his dev team as soon as they saw them and as soon as they came in and as soon as they could spot them. Now, for our clients tuning in, TokyWoky can also help you with this too. So from your back office, you can speak to your customer success manager if you don't already have this, but we can set up keyword alerts so that you're notified about issues in real time from the conversations that are occurring on your site. So you can set up alerts triggered by keywords, such as "can" or "issue," for example. So if you'd like to learn more, again, please feel free to ask your customer success team about setting this up for you. But just a quick use case on this, again, one of our clients in Europe, a men's fashion brand, had alerts created on specific keywords, for example, basket, impossible, can't, and cannot, the morning of Cyber Monday. Now, in the first 15 minutes, they'd received 5 alerts, meaning that at least 5 customers had used TokyWoky to find a solution to their checkout problem. Now, what they discovered was all of these questions on TokyWoky were on the checkout page on mobile. So there was clearly a bug on their checkout page on mobile. Now, through TokyWoky, they were able to spot that instantly, and the technical team was sent the issue, and they were able to solve that particular bug. It was a simple bug to fix in under an hour. Now, during a critical trade period such as Cyber Monday, that's obviously an essential asset to utilize. So moving on to the third issue that we'll go through, how to solve issues when your dev team can't help. Now, we're very aware that getting dev time for development can be very difficult across the board in general, but failing to fix issues quickly can cause customer frustration or even worse, a drop in sales. So what I'm going to take you through now is some best practices that we saw this year on how to solve issues without your dev team and using your community. So what we saw from our analysis is customers are more forgiving, or at least accepting, when they know what's going on. It's when they don't know what's going on that frustrations arise. So it's important to keep your customers informed, particularly if you have problems. A good example of this can be seen here from Gymshark and their founder, Ben Francis. So quick disclaimer, Gymshark isn't a client of ours, but we love what they're doing and we follow them quite closely. And Ben quickly took to social media during Black Friday after Gymshark experienced a checkout issue in both their UK and US online stores. So Ben decided to deliver a personal message to his customer community on all social channels, apologizing for the disappointing experience and informing them that they're working on the fix. It's this kind of quick response all customers are now demanding. Now, I appreciate not every brand or retailer can have their CEO quickly jump on social and deliver a message, but you get the idea of how quick you need to be to respond and how informative and close relationship you need to have with your community. And one way you can deliver that information quickly is through an FAQ tool or a dynamic FAQ tool. So this is obviously TokyWoky's version, but all FAQ tools essentially work the same way, and they're great for adding information quickly to help ease the pain of a problem on your site. So I'm actually going to dip into a live demo now of one of our FAQ tools on Michael's in the US. So you should all be seeing Michaels now. So essentially Michaels is the largest arts and craft retailer in the US. For those of you that don't know, they've had a TokyWoky now for about 6 months. And the particular issue we solved for them during peak trading period was they were getting a lot of questions on the availability of using a gift card. So quite simply, through our FAQ tool, it's really easy to manage. And so you need to go into ask a question here. So if I'm a customer and I have a question about a gift card, here you can see the frequently asked question display tab pop up, so it's already active. And then as soon as I type in how, the first suggested questions pop up. And as you can see there, the first suggested question is how to use my gift card online. Hit that. I have the automated response that Michael's wanted to give. You can either design this through a customer service response or a fellow customer's response if one of your community has answered it really well. So this is a great way just to ease frustrations and obviously answer the FAQs. The customer always has the option to give their satisfaction rate, and if they're not satisfied, obviously they'd be diverted through to the customer service team. But it's just a good way of easing tensions quickly if you need to. And kind of the final recommendation that we'd give is inform your community. So if you're using TokyWoky, this is where we can't emphasize enough to inform your customer community, or your coaches as we call them, of any issues, so that they in turn can answer shoppers' questions. So we've seen this more and more frequently from our clients, and we now recommend it as one of our best practices. You can see an example on the screen here of, unfortunately I can't share who it was, but one of our clients who informed their coach community of one of the promotions that was going on their site, so that then that customer could guide their fellow shoppers when they had questions on Toky. And we're seeing this happen more and more, and the results we're seeing is great. It may be a surprise to you, but your customer community loves engaging with you as a brand, and when they speak to you as a brand or a retailer directly, it's very, very good for retention, and it's very, very good for their morale. And what it means is they're happy then to dive in and help you in situations, in times of need, and they'll give the right information that you want given to the shoppers on your site that are asking questions related to this. So I hope these 4 recommendations have helped you. That is kind of the conclusion of the morning session. So just to recap, and before I let you go, I just want to deliver you the key takeaways from today's session, which will help you win during the coming few weeks in Christmas build up into sale, but more so, I guess, into peak period next year and kind of beyond. And the 7 key takeaways that we've seen this year that you can now use to help you win the marathon are the following. So the first one, make sure important information is readily available across your site on as many pages as possible. The second one, track and analyze questions that are being asked by your customers in real time. Third one, set up a communication strategy with your customer support team. Fourth, keyword alerts. If you have TokyWoky, we'd be more than happy to set this up for you, particularly in the coming days, if this is something you've learned on this morning's session. The next one, communicate quickly and openly on social media with your customers. If you're already doing this, great. Perhaps some of you need to do it more, and we can't emphasize doing that enough. Next, again, this is if you have it, feed the dynamic FAQ tool. If you don't have it on TokyWoky yet, we'd be happy to get you set up on that again in the coming days or weeks before you leave for Christmas and there isn't anything that's going to be manned. Maybe it'd be a good time to set it up so there's at least some form of customer response during Christmas. We know how everybody likes to shop the day after Christmas Day. And then finally, inform your coach community. If you'd like some more specific detailed information on this, again, would be happy to supply you with this. We can even send you a few template messages that we've seen go out over the last few weeks if you'd like to explore that further. So yeah, that essentially concludes this morning's webinar. I hope you found it useful and got the takeaways you wanted to out of it. As I said right at the beginning, this is our first webinar here at TokyWoky, so any feedback is good feedback, and we'd appreciate it. We'd love to kind of continue doing these webinars for you guys, for clients, and obviously potential clients in the future. So if there's any themes you would like us to cover, please don't hesitate to ask. And anything that you think would work or would be good to be done differently in the future would be also good to know as well. So that concludes this morning's session. Again, if there's any questions that you didn't manage to ask here that Marie can cover for you, obviously thanks Marie for doing that, feel free to send them over via email, and we'll pick up with you then. If I don't speak to you before, have a great Christmas period, best of luck with the rest of Q4, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Thanks everyone, take care, bye-bye.